Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Scream Network. All right, so I want to talk about some possible opening scene predictions here. I'm going based off of what a few other people have suggested, other creators, and as fans, as well as fans. Okay, so I'm going to piggyback off of those suggestions, which I think are brilliant. And if we really think about it, these are very possible scene predictions. I also want to talk about further exploring these scene predictions and how I think these could be. One of them, particularly, is my favorite one, which I think could be fully explored and just be an ultimate opening scene for one, the dramatic effect, also a way to kind of revisit the original Scream cast. So, let's start by saying that we found out for a few weeks now that we have two major characters coming back. One of them is Stu Macher, and the other one is Roman, who played Sidney's half-brother in the third installment. We never truly got confirmation that Stu was dead. It looked like it. We saw his, body. We saw his body laying with the TV, frying his face, but he could have just passed out. Okay, he didn't necessarily die, from what we can tell. We didn't see him. I don't think we saw him in a body bag. We saw people in body bags. We didn't necessarily see his face with the body bag zipped over. Just like we didn't see that with Dewey, to be honest, in season 5, but I think we got the idea. He was clearly dead on the floor. We saw that. But nonetheless, there's been speculation for years that Stu is alive, and it's possible. We got confirmation that Scott Foley said that his character Roman has a small role. It's brief. So that leaves us to believe that he's not alive, Roman. We can't say the same for Stu because Matthew hasn't opened up about it. He just indicated that he's going to be in it. Now, he could be in it as a memory. He could be in it as an alive character that survived. He could be in it both ways. We could get an opening scene showing Maureen Prescott's death, which is many are speculating that is going to be the opening scene. And it makes sense, if you think about it, to have Matthew back, to have Roman back, and Roman saying that it's a brief role. Well, what better way to fit him in? The opening scene, a kill scene of Maureen Prescott, taking it all the way back from the very beginning, showing how it was set up, showing how they met each other. We could explore this scene to its maximum potential. We could use all of these, not all, but the majority of our favorite Scream 1 characters can come back and revisit their roles just from this scene. So let me paint you a picture. The scene opens with Maureen and her husband talking, Sidney Prescott's father speaking. They're in their house. Sidney's not home. She's with Tatum and maybe hanging out with Randy too. They're all hanging out maybe at the video store or somewhere where Randy works. Okay, so now we have Sidney and the husband talking. He leaves. He's going to work or going somewhere, maybe out with friends. Maureen's, oh, I'm going to stay home. I'm going to, take a shower and go to bed. Okay. So once the husband leaves, we see Cotton Weary pull up in his car. He's got his jacket on, the jacket that Sidney said she saw. That's how she identified him to Gail and everyone else, that he was the killer, right? The famous jacket. So Cotton comes over. They do what they gotta do. Cotton leaves. Shortly after, enters Billy, enters Stu, enters Roman. Now, I don't know if the scene would take place in the house, if she would be kidnapped and taken somewhere else, but that would give us a way to kind of revisit Cotton. That would give us a way to revisit the father, and of course, Maureen, Billy, Stu, Scott Foley. So then we'd see the death scene play out. Shortly after, cops would be called. Dewey would arrive to the scene. Dewey would call Sidney, who happens to be with Tatum and Randy. Obviously, Sidney would be in a panic and come flying over Tatum and Randy, being supportive friends, especially Tatum, would come along for the ride. And they'd all be at the house, assuming that's where the scene would take place. And that is how we get all of these major Scream 1 characters back together in, one scene. Obviously, Billy and Stu wouldn't be there maybe at the moment. Well, maybe Billy would, right? Because Billy would pretend to be caring about Sydney. She might call Billy for support. So we can kind of have that. And maybe Tatum would call Stu, right? So maybe so. They would clean up. Roman would be hiding. We wouldn't see him because we didn't know about him yet. And actually, this is a way to kind of get that whole group back together. This is a great way to get Stu back, Billy back, Dewey, who we haven't seen since 5. They won't even show us a flashback or give us nothing. We at least got that with Randy in season 3. We got a nice clip of him. Supposedly he recorded that video the same day he died, but that was nice to kind of have him revisit his character, right? We saw Randy Meeks again. So this would be a great way to get Dewey Riley back into character, right? Get David Arquette back as Dewey. Kind of give us some closure with that character since we didn't see him in so long and he died so horrifically, right? I don't know. Let me know in the comments section down below. What do you think about that opening scene? I think it's very likely that we could see a Maureen Prescott kill scene, but I think they have the opportunity here to explore it to its full potential, and I think this would drive fans nuts. And they could be working on it behind scenes. They may not want to let you know everybody that's going to be in it. Maybe they want to shock us a little bit. They may want to let you know that Matthew is back, because people have been going crazy about this Soul Stew idea for years. And I don't know, Scott Foley, maybe just trying to give you little pieces to the puzzle, but not entirely. Maybe not leak everything. And I don't know. Again, I don't know if that is going to be the opening scene. I don't know if that is what's going to happen. We could just see Scott in a memory somewhere. Maybe Sydney's thinking about him or talking about him for some reason. Who knows, right? Maybe Sydney and Gail are talking about him. He comes up somehow. It's possible. Maybe the focus is more just about Stu. Maybe they found out something that leads them to believe that Stu might still be alive. Perhaps. And maybe the opening scene has nothing to do with Maureen Prescott at all. Maybe they won't revisit that. Maybe we have another opening scene where maybe Sydney's husband dies. I know that they said that Patrick Dempsey's not going to be back in it. I don't know. They could be lying. They could be trying to throw us off to shock us. That would be another good opening scene, right? That would be a great way to get Sydney back into the game. Nothing more heartbreaking than watching her husband die or hearing about it at the very least. And then she would want revenge. And then Gail would hear about it and basically you start it back up, right? It's personal. You just killed her husband. Sydney Prescott is not going to be happy. So that's another great opening scene prediction, right? I think those are two powerful scenes. A third one was that they believe that maybe Mindy Meeks might be the opening kill. One of the creators said that it's possible she could be doing like a podcast and die during that scene. It would be dramatic, but it wouldn't be as good as the other two, and it certainly wouldn't be as good as the Maureen Prescott kill scene. And for like the reasons alone that I said, just the opportunity to kind of re-explore those characters, bring them back, revisit those roles would just drive fans nuts. You already have Roman, you already have Stu, just bring them all back. You could somehow probably fit a Casey Becker flashback in there too, somehow. She wouldn't really be needed in that scene at all in any way, but hey, who knows, maybe, like I said, if they show Sydney, Tatum, and Randy at the video store, maybe Casey's with Steve, at the video store. There's just like a scene of that. And I know that these characters don't look the same anymore, but they can certainly deep fake it. There's makeup, there's wigs. We've seen Drew Barrymore 3 years ago put on the wig, and with that wig on, she didn't really look that much different, right? So it's all possible. That's what makeup and wigs and deep fake are for. So nonetheless, I think that would be awesome. You can tell I'm like truly hyped if something like that would happen, because I think that's brilliant. I think that is the perfect opportunity to give fans like a total bang for their dollar. Like if you're going to the movies and you're paying to see this, how freaked out, how jump for joy would you be if you saw like the whole cast back in an opening powerful scene like that? That'd be bonkers. Doesn't mean it's happening. I don't know if they, I don't know how tight their budget is, to be honest. It could be a little expensive trying to get all those characters back. So I don't know. But nonetheless, it'd be good. The, the other opening scenes could be all right. But I don't know. Let me know, what do you think? Do you think Maureen Prescott is the opening kill scene? Do you like the idea that I have that they should revisit all of those characters? Because it's a perfect, and it's really the only way that they can kind of pull it off where it makes sense. Obviously they're all dead, but it's a way to kind of have a chance to see those characters again, have some closure with the characters that we no longer have in the future films and more recent films. Let me know your thoughts down below. I want to thank you guys for stopping by. Please give this video a like, show the support that you enjoy the news and the updates and the predictions and everything that we're doing here. We're a new channel, we're growing, we're going to keep growing, there's a lot more to come. Subscribe if you haven't already. Please share this with others that you think might enjoy this type of content. Share it on your socials, and we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.